My lesson was aimed at a grade 2 class, and we taught a poem that I'd already selected. You can memorize the poem if you're really brave, but normally if I'm doing something like that, I'll have a copy of it somewhere in the class where I can see it, where it doesn't distract the children.
It's thoroughly unfair.
I dramatized the poem for the children and really acted it out nicely for them.
Pancakes make me queasy. Spaghetti makes me sneeze. Achoo! As soon as I eat pizza.
So the whole process of shared reading and shared writing is actually not individual lessons that are taught separately. The idea is that they fit into the literacy hour, and the shared reading happens first for 15 minutes, followed by the shared writing for the next 15 minutes. And this series of lessons that are taught in one day today usually takes 5 days. It usually runs from Monday to Friday, but it can be a bit staggered as well.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is the poet. What is the difference between a poet and an author? We've learned about an author. Liema.
An author writes a story and a poet writes the poem.
Very good answer. With day 1 of the lesson, we talk about the poet, we talk about his history or her history, we talk about what they do. Sometimes you can talk about the title of the poem, and then you can decide, you can predict what the poem could be about, depending on if you've introduced them to it or not before. And then at the end of the lesson, you read the poem with the children, and then they join in with you a second time.
Waffles Give Me Sniffles by Jack Prolatsky. Waffles give me sniffles. Chicken makes me itch. Toffees give me toothaches. Tacos make me twitch.
Those children who can read the poem on the first day will read along with you. Those children who don't know all the words or are not feeling confident enough to might just join in with the words that they know.
Late on Friday afternoon, when I was sitting here working and you'd already gone home, there came a very important looking letter. Should we have a look?
What I did in the first day of the shared writing was to set the purpose for the actual reason why we had to write the extra stanza. Nobody likes to write for no reason, and the children don't like it either. So that's why I wrote a letter pretending it was from the poet, to give the children the reason why they needed to write the stanza, and why their stanza needed to follow on from the rest of the poem, and why the theme of it had to be the same.
Please help me by writing one as a class. And this is written from Jack Prolatsky. Do we think we can do that?
Yes.
The second day of the lesson is that they learn about the structure of the poem and different stanzas.
This is one section, this is one section, this is one section. Okay? Each different section is called a stanza. Let's see quickly if we can notice anything that's the same.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
What's happened? Terry Lee?
There were 8 lines in each stanza.
Day 2 shared writing is all about still gathering ideas. I did separate mind maps for different foods that the children could write about, as well as different ways that the food could make their bodies feel.
Some tomatoes.
Tomatoes, that's a good one. I can't believe he didn't put that in his poem. Let's read quickly the foods that we have here. Pineapple, tomato, mango, apples, cake, carrots. And now we're going to have to think about different things that it makes our body do.
Frozen, something makes you frozen.
Okay, you could say it makes you cold. Hey.
Full.
Makes you feel full. If I change the "a" there to "e", what word would I make? Full.
The focus of day 3 in shared reading in this poem was to discover the rhyming words and to have a look at the patterns that the rhyming words make, that every second line has got a rhyming word in it.
Okay, Kapotso, say the 2 words that rhyme there.
Disease and sneeze.
Sneeze and disease. Tell me something. Jasmine, does sneeze and disease look the same?
No.
What makes it rhyme?
When you talk in the same sound.
Very nice answer. It sounds the same.
Day 3 shared writing is about putting those ideas together and trying to write the actual stanza of the poem. I don't really mind if it's in the right order or if all the words rhyme this day. Normally the 15-minute time slot is very short, so just getting 8 sentences from them was enough for today. Anesu.
Pepper makes me silly. Cauliflower makes me strong. Pineapple makes me speedy.
The fourth day of this series of lessons was aimed at just helping the children to learn the meanings of words that they didn't necessarily know.
If we find a healthy kind of food, we're going to underline it in black. If we find an unhealthy kind of food, we're going to underline it in blue.
Candy bar.
Candy bar is junk food. I'm going to explain to you what that is.
I know what Waffles.
What color? Blue, because it's unhealthy.
I tried to do this in quite a practical way by bringing in different examples of food and pictures of food.
Toffee, show me, healthy or unhealthy?
This poem really leans itself to using actual objects and to acting out the words. The day 4 shared writing, I used to put together the stanza of the poem, to change words that didn't rhyme, to figure out new rhyming words if we needed to, and to work on the actual structure of the stanza so that in terms of the rhyming words and things, each line was in its right place.
So we have enough sentences for a stanza, but we need to figure out what order they're going to go in, and more importantly, we need to figure out rhyming words. Cake makes me hyper, lemon makes me giggle. There is another word that rhymes with giggle that means almost the same as hyper. If you change the ga, wiggle. And that means almost the same as hyper. Hey, if you wiggle, you can't keep still. So now I'm going to put a little line here to tell me that no matter what happens with the rest of the poem, those 2 lines are always going to rhyme. Pineapple makes me wild. Pepper is a little bit mild. Mild. Okay, grade 2s, let's read these lines again together. Check that they all rhyme and that they make sense. Cake makes me wiggle. Lemon makes me giggle. Pineapple makes me wild. But pepper is a little bit mild.
The 5th day I chose to let them act out the poem because this poem has got so many verbs and so many different things that are really nice for the children to act out.
Tacos make me twitch. Ice cream gives me chills. If I nibble candy bars, I'm green around the gills.
Day 5 of the shared writing is really up to the teacher. My idea for the shared writing for this day was that the children would copy down their stanza and illustrate it because it gives them a sense of ownership over the poem. It also helps me to see if they've really understood what the poem was all about. It's also nice for the children to be able to put up the work in their class and say that I did that.